Most people spend their entire lives chasing success, running after money, chasing opportunities, begging life to notice them. But what if I told you success doesn't work like that at all? Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, uncovered a shocking truth over 100 years ago. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract by who you become. In this video, we're going deep into Hill's forgotten secrets, the exact mindset that turns ordinary people into magnets for extraordinary wealth and opportunity. Stay with me to the end, because by the time we're done, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Asterisk, they told you success was about hustle. It's about long hours, sleepless nights, grinding through pain, and yes, effort matters. But effort alone doesn't attract greatness, because success doesn't come to the man who's simply busy. It comes to the man who's aligned in thought, aligned in belief, aligned in identity. Understand this. Success is not something you chase. It's something you pull. It's magnetic. And you, whether you realize it or not, are a magnet. But here's the truth most never hear. You're always attracting. Right now, this very second, you're pulling into your life exactly what matches the signal you're sending. If you radiate fear, you attract limitation. If you radiate indecision, you attract chaos. If you radiate power, you attract opportunity. This isn't mysticism. This is the law of vibration. A principle Napoleon Hill spoke of long before it was trendy. He understood. Your mind is a transmitter. Your thoughts are electric. Your emotions are magnetic. You're broadcasting and life is responding. But here's the trap. Most people are trying to build a mansion, living with a poverty signal. They're saying abundance with their lips, but screaming lack with their thoughts. They dream big at night and doubt themselves by morning. And that's why nothing changes. Not because the dream is wrong, but because the magnet is weak. You cannot attract success while embodying uncertainty. You cannot command wealth while seeing yourself as unworthy. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. Let that land. You don't attract based on your goals. You attract based on your identity. And if your internal identity still believes you're broke, stuck, lost, or unworthy, then no matter how loud you shout, success will not come. Not because it's unfair, but because it cannot violate your vibration. It obeys it. So the first transformation is not action. It's not strategy. It's not even knowledge. It's alignment. It's becoming the version of yourself who doesn't need to ask for success because he's already built to receive. It's start here. Ask yourself, if I were already successful, how would I speak? How would I walk? How would I plan my day? What would I tolerate? What would I no longer excuse? Now ask, why am I not living like that now? The gap between that future version of you and your current self, that's the signal that needs fixing. That's the frequency that must shift. Because when you become the magnet, success no longer hides. It responds. It reveals. It arrives right on time, but only to the one who's finally ready to hold it. Asterisk. You want to succeed? You read the books. You listen to the podcasts. You set the goals. You do the work. But still, something holds you back. Like you're pushing, but the wheels won't turn. Like there's a weight on your back that nobody else can see. You think it's laziness? You think it's bad luck? You think maybe you're just not cut out for this? But it's none of that. The problem isn't outside you. It's within. It's your invisible identity. The silent image you hold of yourself deep beneath the surface. That's what's sabotaging you. That's what's shrinking your results. That's what's keeping success just out of reach, you see? Napoleon Hill taught something the world ignored. Before riches appear in your hand, they must first exist in your mind. Not as a wish, not as a fantasy, but as an unquestionable identity. But here's the trap. You were raised by people who survived, not people who thrived. They taught you to be humble, not powerful, to stay safe, not take risks, not command your turn, not command your future. And so unknowingly, you formed an identity based on limitation. An identity that says, I'm not ready, not smart, enough, I don't deserve more. And no matter what you do externally, if that internal image doesn't change, your life won't either, because your subconscious mind doesn't care what you want. It only works to confirm what you believe. And if you believe you're just getting by, then you'll keep getting by. If you believe money is hard to get, you'll keep watching it slip through your fingers. If you believe success is for them and not for you, then every time opportunity knocks, you'll stay silent. But let me tell you the truth. They never taught you. Your current self-image is a script. And like any script, it can be rewritten. You are not the identity you inherited. You are not the labels you were given. You are not the failures you've lived through. You are whatever you decide to become once you stop asking for permission. So, tear it down. The false identity, the small image, the invisible limit. Rip it out. Burn it. Replace it with truth. You are powerful. You are built for greatness. You are a magnet for wealth, for influence, for transformation. But only when you finally start believing that's who you are, you must stop looking in the mirror of your past. You must stop describing yourself by your wounds. You must stop dragging the old story into your new chapter, because the man you want to become, he's already inside you, waiting, watching, wondering if you'll finally step up and bring him to life. So here's the decision, and it's a hard one. Will you keep clinging to the identity that's kept you small? Or will you finally become the man who attracts everything he was born to hold? This is not just about success. It's about identity alignment. Because the world doesn't pay you for your potential. It pays you for who you are. Asterisk, you've been carrying the wrong program. Not because you're broken, not because you're weak, but because someone else installed it before you ever had a choice. Before you could speak, you were absorbing. Before you could think, you were being conditioned. And by the time you had dreams of your own, you were already living in someone else's mental cage. But Napoleon Hill said it clearly. You become what you think about all day long, not what you hope for, not what you wish for, what you habitually, repeatedly, emotionally think about. Your mind is not a container, it's a compass. It moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. So if your thoughts are fear, lack, and limitation, don't be surprised when your life reflects exactly that. If you've been saying, I just want enough to get by, I don't need too much, I'm not like those rich people. Your subconscious heard that. It believed it. And it made sure you got exactly that, just enough to get by. But what if you flipped the switch? What if you stopped whispering poverty and started declaring power? What if instead of reacting to life like a beggar, you started commanding it like a king? You were never meant to chase success. You were meant to attract it. You were born with a magnetic mind, but you must reprogram it. And it starts with your daily conversation. I'm not talking about what you say to others. I'm talking about the ritual of what you say to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, it's the first sentence that runs through your mind. Is it not again? Or is it let's build? Is it I can't or I create? You must discipline your mind to obey you, not the world, not your feelings. You start every day by feeding it direction. Speak your definite chief aim aloud with force. Write it, see it, feel it. Not as a fantasy, but as an identity that's already yours. I am a man of wealth. I attract powerful opportunities. I execute with precision. I speak and the world adjusts. Because here's what no one tells you. Your mind cannot tell the difference between reality and repetition. It only knows what it hears most. And if it keeps hearing power, it begins to rewire itself in that image. You're not here to escape mediocrity. You're here to become magnetic. To draw success into your space because of who you are, not what you chase. Repetition is the mother of mastery. Affirmations aren't silly. They're software updates in your current system. It's outdated. It's underpowered. It's running programs you didn't choose. But today, you start choosing. You start installing the mindset of wealth, the speech of abundance, the habits of power, and in time your outer world will rise to match your inner world, because life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you've become. So ask yourself right now, what are you rehearsing daily? Fear or faith? Scarcity or abundance? Excuses or action? The mind obeys certainty. It obeys dominant vibration. It obeys whatever you repeat with feeling. So repeat this until it echoes in your bones. I am not chasing wealth. I attract wealth. I am not hoping for success. I expect it. My mind is focused. My path is clear. I am the man who draws everything he needs because of who I have become. That is how you reprogram your magnet. That is how you move from wishing to wielding. That is how you stop being a visitor to success and start being its permanent address. Listen carefully. Success doesn't respond to confusion. It doesn't come to the man who wants everything. It comes to the man who knows exactly what he wants and refuses to settle for less. Napoleon Hill didn't stutter when he said definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Not motivation, not talent, definiteness. You must be precise, crystal clear. So clear that when you speak your vision, the world feels it in its bones. Because when you're vague, you invite delay. When you're indecisive, you invite distraction. But when you're definite, when your desire is sharp and singular, the universe aligns. People respond, and success starts moving toward you. Let me give it to you straight. Most men don't fail because of lack of opportunity. They fail because they're scattered. One week they want to build a business. The next they want to travel the world. Then they get distracted chasing shiny objects, comparing themselves online, paralyzed by overthinking, addicted to overplanning, and nothing moves. You must declare your aim. Write it, carve it, brand it into your subconscious. What is your mountain? What are you climbing toward that is so clear, so specific, so non-negotiable, that you wake up every day already aimed at? Adheres the law. The world obeys the focused man. Because clarity is magnetic. A man who knows where he's going moves faster, speaks firmer, walks straighter, and people follow him. Money finds him. Power respects him. Think of the great builders, the legends, the tycoons. They weren't the smartest. They weren't the luckiest. But they were the clearest. Rockefeller knew. Ford knew. Jobs knew. They didn't dabble. They decided, and that's what you must do now. Ask yourself, what is my definite purpose? Write it down in one sentence. Make it so clear a 10-year-old could understand it, and don't you dare whisper it. Say it aloud. Say it like a man who means. Say it like it's not a goal, but a command to the world. Because that's what definiteness is. It's the moment when your dream stops being a fantasy and becomes a demand. A demand backed by belief. A demand backed by action. A demand backed by identity. Say this now. I know what I want. I move toward it daily. I reject distractions. I destroy doubt. My purpose is fixed. My success is inevitable. This isn't just positive thinking. This is spiritual architecture. You are engineering the bridge from where you are to where you are going with words. With focus and with fire, do not let another man write your mission. Do not wait for the world to hand you a direction. You choose, you declare. You command, and then you become the man success can't ignore. Asterisk. Let me tell you a truth most people run from. Success is not a lightning strike. It is not a lottery ticket. It is not a one-time miracle. Success is built brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day, and that building process requires the rarest trait of all, discipline. Now hear me, discipline is not punishment. It's not about forcing yourself to suffer. It's about ordering your life around your mission. It's about becoming so serious about your vision that you don't let emotion decide. Your day you, let commitment do it. Because let's be honest, you won't feel motivated every morning. You won't feel strong every night. But the man who acts anyway is the man who rises. Every wealthy, powerful, impactful man Napoleon Hill studied, they had one thing in common. They mastered themselves before they mastered the world. They didn't just work hard. They worked on schedule. They didn't just think big. They executed consistently. They created rituals of greatness. So let me ask you, what does your day look like? Do you wake up and drift into distraction? Or do you wake up and attack your aim? Do you waste your mornings scrolling? Or do you use them to build? Because this is the battlefield. Each day is a test. And most men are failing silently. Every morning they delay. Discipline is your weapon. It's your edge in a world of weak men. It's your armor when life throws resistance. And it's your guarantee that even if today is slow, the mission still moves forward. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need perfect timing. You just need perfect effort. Repeated, your daily actions must reflect the life you say you want. Because if they don't, you don't actually want it. You just like the idea of it. And ideas don't build empires, habits do. Here's the formula. Morning clarity, midday execution, evening review. And no wasted days. Do this long enough, and your life will become unrecognizable. So repeat this aloud now. I am the man who executes. I rise when others sleep. I act when others delay. I build when others dream. Discipline is my daily weapon, and I am unstoppable. Say it until it shapes you. Live it until you don't have to think about it, because once discipline becomes identity, success stops being a possibility and starts becoming your reality. You do not drift into power. You build it. One action, 1 hour. One morning at a time. Asterisk, success is not something you chase. It's something you attract. By becoming the kind of person it cannot ignore. This is the secret most men never grasp. You don't get rich by wanting money. You get rich by becoming a man who commands money through who he is. And that shift happens at the level of identity. Let's get this clear. You do not rise above your self-image. You do not outperform your belief about who you are. If deep down you see yourself as average, you will act average. You will think average. And you will attract average. It doesn't matter how many books you read, how many videos you watch, or how many dreams you write down, if your internal mirror still reflects weakness, uncertainty, or lack. That's exactly what the world will return. So the shift must begin within. You must upgrade your identity before you upgrade your life. You must go from, I hope one day I'll succeed too. I am the type of man who builds success daily. You must go from, wish I had more confidence too. I am a bold, decisive, powerful man, and I prove it in how I move. Napoleon Hill made it clear. Every major success story began with definite identity, clear decision of who the person decided to become. Carnegie. He saw himself as a builder of empires long before he built steel. Ford, he believed he would revolutionize transportation long before a single car left the line. Rockefeller, he envisioned control over capital. Long before he had a cent, their belief came first. Their identity was fixed, and the world had no choice but to adjust. So now ask yourself, who are you becoming? It's not just in theory, but in practice. Because life doesn't respond to who you hope to be. It responds to who you are. Every decision, every word, every action, it reinforces the identity you're choosing. So if you want a new life, you need a new identity. Start saying, I am the kind of man who follows through. I'm the kind of man who creates results. I am the kind of man who attracts. Wealth builds power and makes impact. Say it until it's real. Say it until your body, your tone, your presence begins to match it. Because identity is not just internal, it becomes your aura, your energy, your pull. People will feel it. Opportunities will notice it. Money will respond to it, because when you walk like a man who's already powerful, the world treats you like one. Now listen closely. Don't wait until the bank balance grows. Don't wait until the results appear. Become the man first. Then the life will follow. Say aloud, I no longer beg for success. I attract it. I no longer try to be powerful. I am powerful. I no longer chase approval. I command respect. Repeat those lines every day until your subconscious accepts them as fact. Because once your subconscious aligns with that identity, success will start chasing you. You don't need to force it. You just need to embody it. Asterisk, success is not a mystery. It's a pattern. One that leaves clues in every man who's ever lived it. You don't need to reinvent greatness. You need to model it. Every successful man from Napoleon Hill's era to the titans of today followed the same invisible path. They studied those ahead of them. They adopted the behaviors, disciplines, and beliefs that made them great. Then they mastered those behaviors until they became instinct. Finally, they multiplied those habits, expanding into new domains, new results, new levels of power, model, master, multiply. You're not meant to wander in the dark. The footprints are already there, but you must follow them with obsession. Want? To become a man who commands wealth? Study men who already do. Look at how they think, how they plan, how they speak, how they spend their mornings, how they move when no one's watching. Do not study their results, study their process. Most men admire success from afar. The wise man imitates it until it becomes his own. You say you want power? Then you must mirror power until it lives. Inside you, read the words of the masters. Watch how they operate under pressure. Write down their strategies. Then live them not once, not occasionally, but daily. Because repetition is the root of mastery. Success doesn't belong to the gifted. It belongs to the obsessed. It's the man who's willing to repeat great actions until they become identity model. The greats then master their rhythms. Then multiply their principles in your own life. Take their formula and scale it through your voice. Your mission, your industry. This is how movements begin. This is how empires are born. You don't need to start from scratch. You need to start with someone greater than you. Study them like your life depends on it, because it does. Then practice like your future depends on it, because it does. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle, surrounding yourself with the minds of greatness, even through books, speeches, or mentorship, because proximity to power creates power. The more your mind dwells in greatness, the less tolerance it has for mediocrity. So ask yourself now, who are you modeling? Whose mind are you letting shape your thoughts? Are you surrounding yourself with ambition or excuses? If your environment isn't calling you higher, it's pulling you lower. You want different results? Then follow different men. You want new outcomes? Then build new obsessions. And once you've mastered what they've taught, once you're living proof of the power you've studied, then it's your turn to teach, lead, and multiply that greatness into others. Because power expands through impact. That's how legacies are built. Asterisk. People don't follow the smartest man in the room. They follow the man who moves with certainty. Confidence is magnetic. Conviction is contagious. When you walk into a room and know who you are, before anyone approves, before anyone claps, the world adjusts to your frequency. Napoleon Hill made it clear. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement, not talent, not resources, not luck. Purpose. The moment you get clear, fully, completely, obsessively clear on who you are and what you're here to do, your reality begins to bend around your belief. This is not mysticism. This is psychology. The human brain seeks confirmation of your dominant thoughts. Your subconscious obeys your most repeated commands. The world starts handing power to the man who acts like he already owns it. So let me ask you, are you moving with hesitation or dominion? Do your words trail off into uncertainty, or do they land like unshakable declarations? The man who walks with certainty bends attention. He moves people. He makes things shift. He gets what he asks for, not because he begs, but because he believes, and when he speaks, the world listens. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. When your belief matches your behavior, you become a force. And people, money, opportunity, energy, they move toward force. Every time you hesitate, you dilute your energy. Every time you delay, you confuse your future. Every time you question your own value, you teach others to question it too. So you must move different. Speak your goal out loud with spine. Say, I know what I want, I know why I want it, and I will get it or die moving toward it. And when you do that consistently, boldly, without apology, the invisible begins to become visible. Paths appear, allies emerge, momentum builds, and life shifts, because life is not responding to what you hope, it's responding to what you expect. Certainty is a command, and life obeys commands. Stop announcing your fears. Start declaring your future. Stop shrinking your words to fit people who gave up on theirs. Start speaking like a man who knows what's his. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he talked about autosuggestion. You feed your mind the reality you want, till it becomes the only outcome your subconscious will tolerate. Say it aloud now, I am certain. I am powerful. I am moving forward. I will not wait. I will not beg. I will not beg. I create my future. Let that become your baseline energy. Certainty does not mean you know the whole path. It means you've committed no matter how the path twists. It means you've burned the boats. There is no return. Only rise, and when the world sees a man who cannot be stopped, it gets out of his way. Asterisk, you can speak all the affirmations you want. You can write your goals in gold ink. But until your feet move, nothing changes. Faith without action is a lie. Worse, it's self-deception. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. Faith is the only known antidote to failure. But he wasn't talking about blind belief. He meant a belief so strong, so embedded in your nervous system,
Yes.
that it forces you to move even before the path looks possible. That's faith in motion, and it is the birthplace of transformation, say most men. Wait for conditions. For a better economy, for more time, for someone to validate their plan. But the man who moves in faith doesn't wait for permission. He gives it to himself. He doesn't wait to feel ready. He moves and readiness meets him in motion. This is a universal law. Action breeds belief. Belief sustains action. One feeds the other. The more you move, the more your mind believes you're serious. And the more your mind believes, the harder it is to stop. That's how momentum is built. But hesitation is a thief. Every time you pause to ask, what if it doesn't work, you rob yourself of power. What if you just decided, I don't care how long it takes, I don't care how many failures line the road, I don't care if I fall, because I will rise. I will finish. I will win. What happens when that level of belief enters your bloodstream? You begin to act like a man who is done waiting. You start waking up earlier, speaking clearer, risking more, cutting off distractions, and building regardless of how you feel. That is the man who becomes unstoppable, because his faith is not in luck, it's in discipline, it's in daily, it's undeniable, defiant execution. Let me say this again. You do not rise by thinking, you rise by doing, and then you build belief by watching yourself do it again and again. And when people ask what your secret is, you won't point to a trick, a hack, or a lucky break. You'll point to your feet. You'll say, I just moved when others waited. I built when others doubted. I believed and then I proved it. That's how men like Carnegie, Ford, and Edison changed history. They didn't wait, they worked. So here's your charge. Before the day ends, take one bold action that aligns with your belief. Make the call. Start the business. Write the plan. Burn the bridge. Let your actions speak louder than your affirmations. Let your movement become your identity. Because the man who moves with faith, even when he cannot see, is the man to whom the world eventually bends. Asterisk, success is not something you chase. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Napoleon Hill didn't say, go out and hunt down wealth. He said, success comes to those who become success conscious. You do not get rich by force. You get rich by resonance, by becoming so aligned, so focused, so intentional that success has no choice but to come to you. You've been trained to chase, to beg, to hustle with desperation. But that energy repels abundance, because desperation says, I don't have enough. And that becomes your identity. Let's flip that. You don't beg for what's already yours. You claim it. You don't. Pursue wealth like prey. You radiate value so powerfully that wealth turns around and finds you. That is the shift from hustler to magnet. Now listen closely. If you want more, you must become more disciplined, more focused, more valuable. Wealth is not attracted to effort. It's attracted to essence, and your essence is shaped by identity. So ask yourself this: who do I believe I am deep down? Because if you still carry the identity of a struggler, a doubter, a survivor, success will always feel like an intruder. It will knock at your door and you'll say, wrong house. But when you say, I am a builder, I am powerful, I am a magnet for opportunity, and you act like it consistently, boldly, relentlessly, the game changes. Your speech sharpens, your posture shifts, your decisions get faster, and your environment starts to match your new internal vibration. You stop chasing, you start commanding, you stop wondering, you start knowing. This is not ego, this is alignment. You were born to be great, but until your identity matches that truth, you will sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. Why? Because the subconscious always protects the identity. If you believe you're not worthy, you will repel everything that proves otherwise, so you must write a new identity. Write it. Speak it. Live it. Say aloud, I am a powerful force. I do not chase success, I attract it. I am valuable. I am focused. I am ready. And every day I act like it. And then let every movement reinforce it. From how you walk into rooms, to how you price your services, to how you speak your dreams out loud even when nobody claps. This is the identity of a wealth magnet. Not noise, not flash, but unshakable confidence born from daily alignment. When your actions, thoughts, and standards all say the same thing, the universe listens. So here's the truth. If you're not attracting success, if you don't need more work, you need a new self-concept, because wealth is not an accident. It is a reflection. It is a mirror held up to who you are being, not what you are doing. And when you master that internal mirror, the world becomes a reflection of your power. Asterisk average isn't out there. It's not your boss. It's not your job. It's not your paycheck. Average is internal. It lives in your habits. It hides in your thoughts. It disguises itself in your defaults. It whispers, you've done enough today. Take it easy. No one's watching. That voice is the voice of the 99%. It's not evil, just programmed. But if you want the results of the 1%, you must adopt the rituals of the elite, and that starts with awareness. You cannot conquer what you do not name, so name it. Where in your life are you acting average? Do you hit snooze instead of rising with fire? Do you scroll instead of studying? Do you consume more than you create? Do you talk about goals more than you execute them? That's the battleground. Yes! And if you do not dominate it, it will dominate you. The top 1% don't have extra hours. They have extra ownership. They don't negotiate with weakness. They build rituals that crush weakness before it wakes up. Let me give you some of those rituals now. 1. The first hour ritual: before the world can touch you, you must command your state. No social media, no news, no noise, just purpose. Speak your goals aloud. Read your definite aim. Move your body with intention. Write down your top 3 outcomes. For the day, own the first hour, and the day bows to you. 2. The mental repetition. Ritual success is not a one-time idea. It is a repeated state of being. The mind learns through repetition. So feed it the truth daily. I create wealth through value. I am focused, disciplined, and unstoppable. I do hard things with joy and power. Say it daily. With force, don't speak as you are. Speak as you must become. 3. The no matter what ritual, this is your non-negotiable execution zone. 1. Income building task. 1 skill practice. 1 risk taken. Every day, you don't skip this because you're tired. You don't wait until it feels easy, you move, especially when it's hard. Why? Because average breaks in the fire of repetition. 4. The wall of proof. Track your actions, not results. Actions. Results come later. Right now, you're proving to yourself that you're different. Build the wall of proof. Each brick equals 1 action taken with intent. Write it. Track it. Watch it grow, because identity is built on evidence. And every act of discipline is another vote for your greatness. 5. The nighttime realignment before you sleep. Reflect on the wins. Forgive the misses. Visualize tomorrow's victory. Do not end your day in distraction. End it in alignment. Because when the subconscious sleeps with power, it wakes with fire. Now listen closely. These are not tips. They are weapons. Weapons against the average. Identity still hiding in you. Use them. Because every day you skip your ritual, the old version of you survives. And if he survives long enough, he wins. But if you repeat greatness enough, you become it, not by hype, it's by habit. So say this aloud. I destroy average with action. I replace weakness with ritual. Command my life through daily discipline. This is how the 1% think. This is how they move. This is how they win. And now, so do you. Asterisk. They told you desire was enough, that if you just want it bad enough, if you just visualize it hard enough, if you just believe, the universe will bend. But let me tell you the truth, Napoleon Hill uncovered. Desire without discipline is delusion. You can stare at your vision board for 10 hours. You can write your goals 1,000 times. You can chant affirmations until your throat bleeds. But if your daily actions don't match the frequency of your desire, nothing happens. Desire is the spark, but discipline is the fuel. Desire ignites the dream, but discipline builds the dream. Desire says, I want freedom. Discipline says, wake up at 5 a.m. and earn it. Desire whispers, I want wealth. Discipline roars, do the hard thing when no one claps. Desire is emotional. Discipline is structural. That's the secret the manifestation crowd won't tell you. Because discipline isn't sexy. It's not viral. It's not instant. But it's real. The universe responds to structure, Hill said. The subconscious mind will translate into reality a thought, driven by desire and reinforced with persistence. That word persistence is just another form of discipline. Want the universe to move? Then you must move first with rhythm, with consistency. With unshakable execution, the man who moves daily even in silence commands the world more than the man who screams desire from the rooftops. Manifestation is the byproduct of alignment. True manifestation happens when your thoughts are clear, your emotions are focused, your words are intentional, and your actions match your vision every single day. That's alignment. That's magnetic. That's when money starts to flow. People appear, doors open, opportunities rush in, because the universe is not blind, it's responsive. Here's the real equation. Clarity of vision plus intensity of desire plus consistency of action equals inevitable success. Not maybe, not possibly. Inevitable. You don't manifest success through wishing. You manifest it through becoming, and becoming is built in the small. Disciplined actions no one sees. Say this aloud. I align my desire with discipline. I act on my vision daily. I manifest not through hope, but through habit. Let these be the words that guide your movement. Let them be the standard by which you measure your days, because desire gets you started, but discipline makes you unstoppable. Asterisk. Napoleon Hill didn't just teach about riches, he taught leadership. And not just leading others, but leading yourself. Because here's the truth no one tells you. If you're not the leader of your own mind, someone else is, and they've been leading it for years. Your fears, your past, your family, your boss, the culture, social media, all of it shouting commands at your subconscious, and you obeying without realizing. You follow patterns you didn't choose. You respond to life like a follower, not a builder. But that ends today. Leadership begins with command. The moment you take command of your inner world, you change your outer world. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You don't need anyone's validation to take control, Hill said. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Not when it's easy, not when you're motivated. But every day, especially when it's hard, you must become the voice that gives yourself orders. You must be the general of your discipline, the architect of your actions. It's a king of your calendar. Because if you don't lead you, no one worthwhile ever will. Self-leadership is daily management. This is what self-leadership looks like. Planning your day the night before, saying no to distractions, doing the hard thing when no one's watching. Creating internal momentum, reviewing your progress with brutal honesty, speaking purpose over your life, even when it feels fake, holding yourself accountable to the man you want to become. That's what separates the drifter from the dominator. The world follows the decisive. When you lead yourself with bold decisions, the world starts to trust your energy. Opportunities move toward you. People want to follow you. Resources begin to align with your motion, not because you're lucky, but because you're certain. And certainty is rare. Certainty is magnetic. Certainty is leadership. Say this aloud. I am the leader of my life. I command my habits. I decide my thoughts. I act with direction. I do not drift. I dominate. Let this be the moment you step into command. Let this be the shift from being led by fear to being led by vision. Because the man who leads himself can lead anything, and that man becomes unshakable. Napoleon Hill said this clearly. There is one quality which one must possess to win: definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. Most people fail, not because they're lazy, not because they're not talented, because they have no clear target. They wake up each day with vague hopes instead of defined missions. They chase 10 things and catch none. You were not built to drift. You were built to dominate, and domination begins with direction. What is a definite chief aim? It's not just a goal, it's your commanding purpose. It's the one thing that organizes your energy, the clear vision that informs your identity. It's the why, the what, and the how, all tied into a sentence that sets your life on fire. And here's the truth. If you don't have a chief aim, someone else will hire you to fulfill theirs. How to create yours? Ask yourself. What do I truly want most in life? Not what sounds nice, not what looks good on Instagram. What do you want so deeply you're willing to sacrifice for it? What am I willing to become to achieve it? Because this isn't just about achievement, it's about transformation. Can I describe it clearly, powerfully, and with conviction? If you can't write it, you don't own it, then you speak it. Napoleon Hill called this auto-suggestion. Not wishful thinking, but purposeful reprogramming. Every day, speak your chief aim aloud. Write it in the present tense. Feel it as if it already exists. Say it until your mind has no choice but to believe. Example, I am building a digital empire that generates $1 million annually by empowering 1 million men to take command of their lives. Be specific. Be bold. Be emotional. Because the subconscious doesn't respond to facts, it responds to feeling. The chief aim builds everything around it. Your habits change to support it. Your circle starts to shift. Your thinking gets sharper. Your actions get faster. And suddenly, you're no longer chasing motivation, you're running on a mission. You stop asking, what should I do today? Because your aim already dictates the answer. Say this aloud. I live by a definite chief aim. I speak it, write it, and act upon it. My life bends around my vision. I am a man of purpose. I am a man of power. When that aim is burned into your soul, you don't need motivation. You become unshakable momentum. Because the man with a definite chief aim can bend reality. Napoleon Hill said it bluntly. Faith is the head chemist of the mind. It takes your thoughts, your desires, your invisible beliefs, and turns them into real-world forces. But here's the secret most men miss. Faith alone does nothing. Faith in action changes everything. What is faith really? It's not religion. It's not blind hope. It's certainty in motion. Faith is when your actions speak before the evidence shows up. It's moving as if you already have the result, because you trust the process so deeply you can't imagine failure. And that kind of belief, it bends the world around it. Say this aloud. I program my mind for greatness. I command my subconscious to work in my favor. I plant success daily. I harvest power hourly. My mind is mine, and I am limitless. Train your subconscious like a warrior. Feed it only what? Builds, empowers, and multiplies. Because once your inner world changes, the outer world has no choice but to follow. Asterisk, let's be blunt. Procrastination is not a habit. It's a disease. It spreads in silence. It grows through delay. It steals dreams and calls itself later. But here's the brutal truth. Later is a lie. No empire was built by a man who said tomorrow. No fortune was claimed by one who said, I'll think about it. They act fast. They act now. They act even when they're unsure. Procrastination kills more dreams than failure ever could you think waiting protects you. It doesn't. It destroys you. It weakens your belief, builds your doubt, teaches your subconscious that you don't really mean it every time you delay. You reinforce hesitation as your default identity. You become the man who thinks but never moves, plans but never executes, hopes but never builds. And that man, power doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't knock forever, it moves on. The universe rewards motion. It doesn't care if the move is perfect, it just wants momentum. Speed beats perfection. Every time, decide fast. Execute faster. Adjust along the way. The man who waits to be ready will still be waiting in 10 years. Every delay builds a wall, each moment of hesitation becomes a brick. And one day you wake up surrounded by a fortress of unfinished dreams. No one builds power by thinking alone. No one multiplies wealth. With analysis paralysis, you must train yourself to move. The anti-procrastination code, here's how to destroy, delay, and ignite your momentum. 1. Never end a day without action, even a small one. Make the call, send the email, build the page, record the video. 1 brick. Every day. 2. Decide on paper, thinking loops in your head. Writing breaks the loop. Each morning, write down the one thing you will execute today, the one fear you will face, the one move you will complete. 3. Create micro deadlines, create urgency. Without one, your mind drifts. Set a 30-minute timer. Beat the clock. Don't wait for confidence, build it through action. Courage doesn't come before movement. It follows it. Fast action rewires identity every time you act without delay. Your subconscious updates. I am the type of man who executes. I move while others pause. I lead. Do this enough, and success becomes your default reaction. The pain of delay is greater than the pain of action. Yes, taking action might be uncomfortable. Yes, it might be imperfect. But do you know what hurts more? Looking back and realizing you wasted the decade. Let this sink in. One decision today can change your entire financial future. One act of courage can rewrite your family's destiny. But not if you hesitate. Say this aloud. I destroy procrastination. I act fast. With power, I do not wait. Kill procrastination now, or it will kill everything you could have become. Asterisk. There comes a moment in every man's life when he must decide, am I all in or just interested? Because wealth does not respond to lukewarm desire. It obeys certainty. And certainty begins with one brutal, bold act. A real decision. Not a maybe. Not a let's see. Not a someday. But a definite, unshakable, irreversible decision. The kind of decision that burns the boats. No plan B, only forward, the greatest mistake average men make. They leave a way out. A backup plan. Safety net. But the moment you give yourself an exit, you guarantee you'll use it. The man with no way back always moves forward. The second you decide fully, everything begins to shift. Your thoughts organize, your emotions align. The universe starts moving things into place, but that only happens when you remove the option to retreat. Why most men never decide. They fear failure. They fear judgment. They fear letting go of comfort. But let me tell you something. A life without a decision is a slow death. You drift. But responsibility without boldness is just quiet surrender. Burn the boats, then build the empire. Every great man you admired did this. No retreat. Elon Musk put every dollar from his PayPal exit into Tesla and SpaceX. Napoleon Hill threw away 20 years of failure before deciding he would succeed, then wrote a book that changed the world. Each of them had this moment. There's no going back. I'm all in. I will win or I will die trying. That decision is the ignition point of power. How to make an unbreakable decision. Let me give you the framework. Write this down. 1. Name the outcome. Be specific. Not I want success, but I will build a 6-figure business in 12 months. I'll become a man of unshakable discipline. Delete the backup plan. Tell the people in your life. This is happening. Period. Fear hates commitment, so give it one. 3. Declare it publicly. Tell someone. Post it. Say it aloud every morning. Burn it into your identity. What you declare, you start becoming. 4. Take immediate, irreversible action. Book the coach. Invest the money. Quit the job. Build the site. Launch the product. Power follows action. Decision without action is just noise. The difference between wanting and deciding. Wanting is a wish.
Alice.
Deciding is a command. Wanting asks permission.
Ouch.
Deciding takes ground. Wanting waits for signs. Deciding becomes the sign. Every man wants. Few decide. And only the few build empires. The man who decides becomes magnetic. You decide. People feel it. Money senses it. Opportunities chase it. Why? Because power respects clarity. The world bends to a man who knows what he wants and moves like it's already his. Say this aloud. I decide. I burn the boats. I do not look back. I am all in. I am the man who does what others only think about. This is the moment. This is the line. Step over it and never return. Asterisk. You've heard the words. You've felt the fire. Now the only question that remains is this. Will you live like it's true? Because the man who attracts success doesn't wait for it. Moves, speaks, walks, and acts as though he already owns it. Not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. He doesn't fake it. He embodies it. Identity first. Reality follows. You don't become rich and then become the man. You become the man. Riches arrive to keep up with you. Say it again. I don't chase wealth. I attract it by becoming worthy of it. You build your life inward. First, you develop the thoughts. You install the habits. You craft the voice. You shape the posture. Every day, the world begins to reflect the image you carry. Reverse engineer your future look 5 years ahead. Imagine the man who has everything you want. Ask, how does he speak? How does he walk into a room? What time does he wake up? What does his calendar look like? What does he spend time with? What does he never tolerate? Then build that man now. Piece by piece. Step by step. You don't need to become perfect. You don't need more information. You need a full body, full mind. The man you are today is perfectly designed to give you the results you have. And the only way to have more is to become more. How to step into the final version of your this down. Say it aloud. Build your new blueprint. 1. Speak like him. No more weak language. No more I'll try. Say I execute. I finish. I rise. Let your words train your subconscious too. Move like him. Carry yourself like a man who commands respect. Straight back, clear voice, firm handshake, focused eyes. Let your body speak before your mouth does. 3. Decide. Like him, no hesitation, no crowd pleasing. Make bold moves. Own your choices. The man who lives in fear becomes the man forgotten by history. 4. Demand what he would. Raise your standards. In work, in relationships, in health, in wealth. The man who gets what he wants, expects it. Begin the final ritual. Let this be your new protocol. Wake up early. Speak your vision. Review your plan. Take the first action before the world even opens its eyes. Train your mind like a warrior. Guard your energy like a king. Invest your time like a millionaire. Because the universe is watching your ritual, not your hopes. Final words, this journey is not easy. You were born to blaze. You were not made to crawl. You were made to command. You were not designed to wish. You were designed to build. So rise. Say this aloud. I am no longer who I was. I am who I decide to become.
Guys.
I attract success because I am success. I move with certainty. I live in purpose. And I will not stop until the world sees what I already know. Let this become your creed. Let it become your code. Let it become your identity, because the world doesn't respond to hope, responds to certainty, to power. It's the man who acts like it's already done. That man is you. Now go and live like it.